This show contains spoilers and adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
Movies with Ron, movies with Ron.
Hell yeah, motherfucker.
Movies with Ron.
All right, you ready for some controversy?
Yeah, man.
Who?
How about Andy Signore? Who knows who he is?
I know the name.
You know Honest Trailers.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
right? It's run by this media online thing called Screen Junkies.
Right.
You've seen that logo around.
Oh, yeah.
And he's on Movie Fights, the podcast.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's one of the things that like made me want to start podcasting, you know, talking about movies, arguing about them. He got suspended from Screen Junkies. He's the one who started it. He got suspended for inappropriate stuff with females.
A la Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah. Harvey Weinstein's the big one.
Yeah.
All right. And everyone's coming out. It's like, holy shit, Harvey Weinstein. I don't know, man. He's going to like kill himself soon.
No, he's not.
Yeah. Okay.
He just turns to an aide and he's like, make this go away.
I don't think it's going away though.
It's fine. It'll fade.
Andy Signore, his thing is the one that hit me though. April O'Donnell told The Wrap that Signore tried to sexually assault her repeatedly and threatened to get her boyfriend, Joshua, fired from his job at Screen Junkies.
God damn.
If she spoke out. Like, fucking seriously.
Jesus.
Since then, 2 other women went to Screen Junkies Human Resources and complained. All right. There was Harvey Weinstein, and he's accused of full-on rape.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There's Harry Knowles of Ain't It Cool News. Remember that? Remember Ain't It Cool?
Yeah.
In like the early days of being like a fanboy for movies.
Right.
Ain't It Cool News like helped build the internet.
Right.
All right. Devin Faraci from Birth Movies Death. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but if I'm not, he deserves it.
Damn, dude.
And
what the hell's going on here?
Dude, seriously, it's these nerds.
Power-hungry nerds.
Yeah. You know what happened, like, especially after the Harvey Weinstein stuff? Another nerd, Woody Allen. You know what he said?
What?
All right, here, I'm going to do my best impression. I hope this doesn't start a witch hunt. Because he knows he's next.
Yeah.
You know what I want to say to all these guys? Happy Halloween, motherfuckers! Are you scared now? Welcome to episode 72 of Movies with Ron, the podcast where my older brother recaps a movie he saw from beginning to end. For me and you, because we like his versions better. It's okay if you've seen the movie. It's okay if you haven't seen it. The experience is unique. So let's get it on. I'm Chris, your MC for the time being. Across from me, our sound guy, Rick.
Good evening.
And here he is, folks.
He's the ball cracker, death on foot. You know him, you love him. He's Ron.
Hey, Ron.
Hey. Happy Halloween, planet Earth.
Yeah. So Halloween is in 3 days when this episode launches. I figure that's enough time to check out a movie I want you to see.
Hell yeah.
From 2011, it's The Innkeepers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You guys ever seen that?
Yes.
Nah, what's it about?
All right, it's directed by Ty West.
Yeah.
All right. I'm kind of a fan of his.
Yeah, me too.
Because of The Innkeepers, really. He needs to do something good.
Yeah.
He's had some duds recently.
He certainly has.
Like the Drinking the Kool-Aid movie. What is that? People's Temple?
I don't remember what it's called. It sucked, though.
It's called like The Salvation or something like that.
Yeah. The Sacrament.
Yeah. He also did a Western with John Travolta.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah, that's why. But The Innkeepers is about the final days at the Yankee Peddler Inn, where 2 employees are determined to reveal the hotel's haunted past, and they begin to experience disturbing events.
Right.
And the cool thing is, the Yankee Peddler Inn.
It's a real place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I used to live in Maryland, and we went up to Connecticut to see the Evil Dead musical.
Yeah.
Did you know Evil Dead was a musical?
Yes.
Yeah. If you got to Google it now, because if it's playing anywhere near you, go see that shit.
Okay.
All right. We were like, oh, we got to stay at a hotel, you know. We don't want to drive all the way back that night, because at the musical, they cover you in blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sprinklers in the ceilings. You got to wear,
Nice.
people in the front row wear plastic on
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah.
Right across the street from the venue was the Yankee Peddler Inn.
Wow.
Yeah. And I got to stay there for a night.
That is so cool.
Fuck yeah, dude.
So what happened?
Nothing.
Oh.
But apparently when they were filming this movie, haunted shit happened to them. Because they filmed the movie there at the hotel, and they all stayed there.
Yeah.
It's like a perfect thing. Anyways, The Innkeepers, starring Sarah Paxton and Pat Healy. Two very talented actors. So I'm not going to give it away. It's a totally fucking fantastic movie. From 2011, The Innkeepers.
Hell
Check it
yeah.
out. You got 3 days. Scare yourself. Do it.
Well, hey, and sorry to interrupt, Chris, but guess what?
What?
In the spirit of Halloween, here is your movie death of the week. You know, it's funny you mention Evil Dead because our movie death of the week comes from that. We all know that Ash is the chainsaw hand, shotgun-wielding badass from the Evil Dead series. But I wonder if any of you really remember why. It's the subtlety of this hero that really gets me. When it comes to talking without words, Ash has that in spades. In the film Army of Darkness, Ash is on his way to retrieve the Necronomicon and deals with some folly with the evil forces upon him. Speeding right up here, Ash grows an evil twin from his shoulder. This fucker starts dancing a jig while poking Ash in the eyes, slapping him in the face, and punching him in a song and dance about Ash being goody little two-shoes. Having had enough of this shit, he puts a double-barrel shotgun in Bad Ash's face and gives him a definite nod of, get fucked, pal.
Little goody two-shoes.
Good. Bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
Yeah.
Go back and check out the fine acting of B-movie megastar Bruce Campbell. That nod is absolutely award-winning. Cheers and happy Halloween. So that was your movie death of the week.
I went to the Ash versus the Evil Dead haunted house at Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It was so much fun, man. And all of the actors that were playing Ash, fucking awesome. The very first one that I saw, he comes out, he shoots a deadite, and I looked at him and I was like, dude, you got the coolest job in this whole park, man. And he gave me that same nod.
So, all right. Cult of Chucky.
Fuck yeah, Cult of Chucky. It's good, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Do we have to see the other ones?
Well, I went back and watched every single one of them.
Really?
Oh yeah, man.
Good Lord.
It was a fun ride.
Damn.
It's funny because the first Child's Play is like my entry into the world of horror movie nightmares.
Yeah.
That
that's
shit
true.
scared the shit out of me, man. Now watching it as an adult, I'm like, man, this is such a bad movie. But it's so good. You know what I mean?
I still like the first one.
It's great, man. Chris Sarandon? Jesus.
Oh, yeah, totally. He's the detective.
Yeah.
The thing about the Chucky stuff, he's never scarier than when he's turned away from the camera. Because Chucky, you know, he's animatronic.
Yeah.
He's got the face, you know. They're moving all the parts. He's a doll that's reanimated
Right.
with a killer. You know, the special effects guys back then, they were like, oh man, they had so much fun. But it's never scarier than when they have a little person
Yeah.
wearing Chucky's wardrobe, where they don't need to show his face.
Yeah.
You just see him running away.
Yeah, man.
You know, I think even in the first one, you see a point of view from a window.
Yes, and
it's
he's
off
like running
in the
upstairs and
distance.
shit.
Yeah, it's like you're seeing that fluid motion of an actual figure.
That is the scariest shit.
It is the scariest hands down. It's like Jaws, where you're not seeing like any valuable shit. You're just seeing the fleeting images of Chucky.
Right.
And I don't know, man. That's what always filled me with fear.
Mm-hmm.
A fantastic performance through the ages by
Brad Dourif.
Brad Dourif, man.
Hell yeah, man.
He's stuck with it.
He sure as hell has. And now it's a family affair because his daughter is in the new ones.
Yeah?
Yeah, Fiona Dourif.
Is she in this one?
She certainly is.
Fuck yeah, man.
Hell yeah. So did you ever see Curse of Chucky? That's the last one.
No.
It's good. This was Don Mancini, the creator of Chucky, his answering to the fans' calls for a return to Chucky being scary.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Because the last couple were kind of,
They're black comedy. They're funny.
yeah. I stopped at Bride of Chucky.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know if this is worth mentioning, but at that age when it came out, the thing about Bride of Chucky was the soundtrack.
It was good.
Yeah. Remember, it was late 90s, early aughts. There was a thing about these rock movie soundtracks.
Yeah.
You know, I think Rob Zombie was on every single one of them.
Uh-huh.
There was another one where it was Spawn. Remember the Spawn movie?
Yeah.
Just as important was when the soundtrack came out,
Exactly.
which had like so many good songs and stuff.
And they were all collaborations.
Yeah. Another was, of course, The Crow. We've
Yep.
talked about that. I don't know. It's nostalgic. That's a trip down memory lane.
Yeah,
dude.
man.
I think they make a point in that show Parks and Recreation where someone's flipping through a CD book and then they're like, it's all soundtracks. And then the dude is like, I like to think of it as the director making a mixtape for you. I don't know, man.
So back to Curse of Chucky. It was kind of a soft reboot where it still occurs within the universe of all the Chucky movies, but they kind of rehash the story a little bit.
Yeah.
Only this time they take out all the funny shit. They also fleshed out Brad Dourif's character, Charles Lee Ray. They fleshed him out a little bit, gave him a little bit of backstory.
Yeah.
And we got to see what he was doing just before he went on the run from Chris Sarandon and got shot in the toy store.
Nice.
Yeah, it was cool. So Curse is about this family that had been targeted by Charles Lee Ray. And like he killed the husband and the wife had 2 daughters. Mm-hmm. One of whom is played by Fiona Dourif, and she is in a wheelchair, has been for life. So she is the one who has to do battle with Chucky while he's killing everybody else in the family. And at the end, of course, Chucky's just a fucking doll, so she gets arrested and tried for murder.
Oh, God.
Yep, so she gets put away. Which pretty much brings us to where this one begins, except for a stinger at the end of Curse of Chucky, where actor Alex Vincent, the original Andy Barkley from Child's Play 1,
Wow.
is a grown man with a beard. He's a Beardy McBeard face.
Ooh.
And he gets a package delivered, and he's like, I don't know, I didn't order this. And she's like, and the delivery lady is like, maybe you won a prize. He's like, yeah, okay. And like you see in his house, he's got like a photo of him and his mother back from the first movie, and a photo of Kyle, the blonde teen girl that helped him fight Chucky in Child's Play 2.
Ah.
And he's like on the phone with his mom, like, yeah, Mom, everything's fine. Yeah, sure. What are you going to cook? Okay, I'll come over. Meanwhile, Chucky is cutting his own way out of the box that he was just delivered in. And he sits up and he's like, yeah, and he's got all the scars on his face and shit. And he turns around. Andy has already got a shotgun pointed into his face.
Damn, dude. This is fucking important.
Hell yeah. And he just goes, play with this fucker. And then Chucky goes, Andy! Boom!
Damn.
And then that's it for
Holy
Curse of Chucky.
shit.
Yeah, man. The original Andy Barkley.
Well, if that doesn't get you pumped up for this next one,
Fuck
I don't
yeah.
know what will.
All right, folks. Paint some freckles on your face and grab your favorite kitchen knife, because it's time for Cult of Chucky on Movies with Ron.
It's showtime.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Get the people out. Come on, get the people out.
Okay, so we open up on a high-rise building, and it's one of those with a fancy restaurant at the top. And inside, there's like light piano music playing and shit like that. And we see Andy Barclay is on a date.
Wow.
Yeah.
The kid from the first movie.
Yep, Alex Vincent. Beardy McBeardface. And his date is saying shit like, I just think the Second Amendment, it's not only obsolete, but it's dangerous. And he's like, oh yeah, I totally get why you think that, And she's like, I'm sorry, I've just never dated someone who's into guns. And he's like, okay, I'm not into guns. I have a couple. And she's like, oh my God, more than one? And he goes, I just want to be able to protect myself. And she goes, from what, Andy? And then he pauses for a minute, takes a big long gulp of his wine, and then looks at her and says, you Googled me, didn't you? And she's like, yeah, I did. And he's like, fucking internet. She's like, you have a really dark past. Why didn't you tell me about it? And he's like, because I like you and I didn't want to scare you away. I was 6. And my babysitter was murdered. Right then we get a shot of his babysitter from the first movie, falling out the fucking window and hitting the pavement. And he's like, and then my teacher and my caseworker and 37 other people over the years. And she's like, oh my God, they never caught him? And he goes, let's put it this way. Justice was done. And then it just shows him pointing the shotgun at Chucky's head in the last stinger. And he just goes, play with this. But this time you hear Chucky go, wait. And then boom, he blows his head off. So they did a little bit of retconning.
Yeah.
And then his date is like, look, you're a nice guy, but I'm sorry. This is just too much for me. I'm going to go. And he's like, yeah, I get it. So she leaves, and then he just sits there and finishes his wine. So then he goes home to his really nice cabin in the middle of the woods. It's much different than the apartment he was in the last movie. So he walks in there, and he has got this huge living room, the entire wall of which is completely fucking filled with guns. So many guns. Guns. Nice. He's got all kinds of animal heads on the wall and shit, which is a little foreshadowing. And he walks up to his lonely fridge and he pulls out a lonely beer. And he pops a top and he's drinking it. He's just looking around. And he is a lonely man.
Yeah.
So then he walks over to his wall, on which he's got a framed sweatshirt from Kent Military Academy.
Nice.
Child's Play 3.
Fucking cool, man.
And then he pulls that down off the wall, and there is a safe behind it. He opens it up, and this motherfucker has got Chucky's head nailed down and chained tightly to a block of wood.
Damn.
Chucky's head is split halfway open. Okay, it's all bloody and shit. It's got nails sticking out of it. You can see that he's been torturing him.
Yeah.
And he fucking keeps him in a safe. As soon as he opens the safe, Chucky's looking at him. He's awake and conscious.
Damn.
Yeah, fuck him.
I already like this movie.
Oh yeah, man. So Chucky's just looking at him, and he takes the head and sets it on his desk and then sits down and lights up a joint. And he's just relaxing, he takes a big puff and then he blows it into Chucky's face. And he says, guess it's just you and me again tonight, pal. And then Chucky's coughing on all the fucking weed smoke. And then Chucky says, hey, give me a hit off that, will you? Andy looks at the joint, thinks about it for a second, and then he puts it into Chucky's mouth. Chucky takes a big, long fucking drag off of it. And just as he's about to blow the smoke out, he just goes, "Rawr!" Right into fucking Andy's face. And it's a big jump scare. And then he starts laughing just like you are now. And he's like, and then Andy's like, oh yeah, okay. Puts the joint down and he goes, you want to play? Let's play. And he goes over to the desk and he's like rifling around in the drawer that is full of fucking guns and knives and shit. He's even got like a big Wolverine claw. And he pulls out a blowtorch. While he's doing that, Chucky's like, what about Rachel? Didn't she want to play? Now we'll never get to find out if she's a natural redhead or not. So Andy brings the torch over, and then Chucky's like, face it, Andy. I'm all you got. Andy's like, you know, sometimes it's nice to just hang out on a Friday night. And he lights the torch, and he goes, with your best friend. And then he approaches Chucky's face with the fire. And as he's doing that, Chucky's like, fuck you! And then he just burns Chucky in the fucking face. And Chucky is fucking howling in pain.
Yeah.
Ah! And it just cuts to black. And then it says, Cult of Chucky. So then we get the opening credit sequence, which is all about exposition of Nika Pierce, who is Fiona Dourif's character from the last film.
Okay.
And it's like, yeah, you know, woman slaughters her family of 5, and she was convicted and ruled insane. And now she is at Lockmore Asylum. During the credits, you see, like, she's been, like, undergoing hypnosis and all kinds of weird therapy. There's, like, scans of her brain and shit, because she's crazy now.
Yeah.
Now, when we actually see her, she's lying on a hospital gurney, and they are administering electroshock therapy. Her whole body is, like, convulsing and shit, and one of the texts is like, I thought you said she was paralyzed. Oh, she is, man. That's just the current. See, look at this. And he's, like, poking her in the foot with a needle. Like, see, she's a pincushion below the waist. Did I mention she was in a wheelchair the entire time?
She's paraplegic?
Yes. So now we hear her saying, I can still see him in my nightmares. I can hear his fucked up laugh, his victims. And then we see that she is talking with her psychiatrist, Dr. Foley. And he's like, whose victims? And she's like, oh yeah, mine. And he's like, Chucky wasn't real. He was a fantasy delusion that you made up. So, and she's like, so I could live with myself and look at myself in the mirror. And what do you see when you look in the mirror now? I don't look in the mirror anymore. You know, you've made so much progress. I am so proud of you. Guess what? I'm transferring you to Harrogate. It's a medium security facility. Okay, there's no cameras. You're going to be able to have some privacy. You know, you're still insane. Okay, and you're a murderess. But, hey, that's great, right? She's like, what I did was unforgivable. Hey, listen, schizophrenia is an illness. You are not responsible for your actions. She's like, yeah, do you think Alice would accept that? For my making her an orphan? Alice was the only survivor from her family, besides herself.
Okay.
It was her niece. She took on the Andy Barclay role for that film.
Mm-hmm.
Little kid gets a new doll.
Okay.
So we see her being transferred to Harrogate, and it's all fucking snowy outside. It's winter, baby. And she's settling into her new room, and there's a male nurse there named Carlos. And he's like, yeah, check it out. Here's your bathroom. Here's where you shit. Okay. But if you need help with that, you ask for one of the lady nurses. Thanks for being so nice. Hey, listen, don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan, okay? I'm just doing my job. She's like, yeah, okay. Well, thank you anyway. And he puts her one possession on the table, which is just a picture of her niece, Alice. He's walking out, and he's like, were you in an accident? She's like, no, I was born this way. And he goes, my husband has MS.
Oh.
Yes. And Carlos is like, I don't let it stop him from living his life. And she's like, oh, yeah, that's nice. So because Carlos feels a little connection with her, he pulls a pack of gum out of his pocket and leaves it on the desk, and then he leaves. Because remember, they're in a fucking mental asylum. They don't get gum.
So she's in the new clinic?
Yep, she is in the new medium security facility.
Okay.
So now she's out exploring, and she ends up in the common room, the crux of activity in any movie about an asylum. And now we meet Angela, who is a older blonde lady, and she's like, can you see me? Yeah. Thank God. Don't be afraid. Okay. I've lived my whole life here, and then I died. Right in this very room. And Nika's like, what the fuck? And then some dude like jumps up and scares Angela. He's like, Angela! She's like, oh, fuck you! He's like, we can all see you, Angela. Now go haunt somebody else. And then she flutters away. And he's like, hey, my name's Michael. You want to hang out and talk? She's like, yeah, sure. He sees that she has gum. Hey, where'd you get the gum? Oh, from Carlos. Carlos, huh? He's a fucking hard ass. Must have a soft spot for you. For me, it's Nurse Ashley. She is my guardian angel. And then that lady like turns to him and gives him a cigarette. So you're new, huh? You're a transfer? Yeah, I'm from Lockmore. And he's like, oh, you're that girl who, yeah. So you still got a thing for redheads? And she's like, what? He's like, oh, sorry. Yeah, I guess it's too soon. Too soon for that. Okay. Because Chucky has red hair. For anybody who's never seen him.
Yeah.
She's like, I will give you this gum for that cigarette. He takes it and he's chewing. He's like, oh, juicy fruit. Yeah. And they're like looking at each other and he goes, huh. And she goes, huh. And then it just cuts to them fucking in the stairwell. And then it cuts to their first group therapy session. So we have the psychiatrist, Dr. Foley, Michael, Nika, and Angela, we've already met, and two others named Claire and Madeline. Claire, who is clearly the bitch of the group. She's like, so why'd you do it? We're all wondering, hey, come on, give her a break. She's new. If I'm going to live down the hall from someone who butchered her family, I have a right to know what set her off. Yeah, well, why did you burn your house down? I didn't kill anyone. Well, neither did Nika. And this is Mike talking, and he's like, Chucky did it. And he looks at her like, we fucked. So I'm going to defend you now. Nika's like, you know what? I don't blame you, okay? I was very ill. Doctor's like, yeah, it is pretty soon to be talking about this stuff. Don't worry, we'll get into this. No, I want to know why. And then Nika's like, I was pathologically jealous of my sister and too possessive of Alice, my niece. She's 12 now, and I'll never see her again. I just hope she's okay. And then Angela, the lady who was like, can you see me? I'm dead. She just says, she's not okay. And everybody turns and looks at her, and she's like, Chucky told me. What? He called me on the phone. He said to tell you he's coming for you now that you can have visitors.
Jesus.
And then Nika is just like, and then she just starts laughing like fucking crazily.
Yeah.
You think this is funny? No. You know what? No, I do not. Dr. Foley's like, it's very important that we explore these issues together, okay? And you know what? I think I have something that'll help. He walks over and comes back with a fucking good guy doll.
Good Lord.
Yeah, and it's like brand new looking. As he's walking over, it says, hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
The doll that Brad Dourif possessed was a good guy doll. That was the line.
Absolutely.
Good guy dolls. Okay.
Everybody's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Is that? No. It's just a good guy doll, okay? They made thousands of them in the 80s. No. But he said Chucky. They had 50 different names. 2% of them were Chucky. So you're saying this is a coincidence? Nah, no way. I paid for a Chucky. Yeah, well, where'd you get it? Hot topic. Does this make you uncomfortable, Nika? No. And then Madeline just goes, oh my God. She comes up right in front of the doctor and she's like staring at the doll. He's like, what is it, Madeline? He's my baby. And then she takes it from him and she's holding it and it is her baby now. And everybody's just like, oh, fucking weird. Okay. So then it just cuts to a nice shot of like blood and flesh soup. Fucking straight up just looks like gore in a bowl. And it turns out it's just tomato soup. It was just, a transitional shot.
Oh my God.
So Madeline is now feeding her new baby. She's like, come on, open up for the choo-choo. And it's a fucking doll, so it's not eating, right? And she's like, it must be too hot for him. And then the doll's like, I like to be hugged. She's like, I can't believe he's talking already. Claire is not having this shit. Madeline, stop it. Hey, why can't you just let her be happy? Fuck that. And she takes the Chucky doll. Nika chimes in. She's like, hey, give him back. What do you mean him? It's just a fucking doll. Are you unable to separate reality from fantasy still? I thought you were making progress. What the fuck's going on here? She's like, no. Reality is painfully clear. Okay? Especially nowadays. So, give him back. Or what? Or what, Nika? What are you going to do? Stab me? You going to cut my throat? She's like, no, we don't even have access to cutlery here. So, but what I do have access to is the hoard of barbiturates that I've been saving for months now. Just waiting for the right bitch to come along to poison. And then Claire just gives the doll back. Mike was watching that, and he just looks at Nika, and he's like, phew, I'm Mark, by the way. Nice to meet you. I've heard a lot about you. And Nika's like, what? Yeah, I heard about you from Michael. He's in the pool right now getting ready for Tokyo in 2020, but don't tell anyone. Do you mean Michael Phelps? He's like, yeah. He's retired. And then Mark's like, oh, fuck. Oh, God. This is so embarrassing. I did it again. Oh, God, especially in front of a pretty girl. You know what? That's one of my triggers. And then Madeline is like, his real name is Malcolm. And we call him Multiple Malcolm. Nobody calls me that. And then Nika is like, oh, Jesus. Like, I just fucked him. And to him, I fucked Michael Phelps. Like that, it was Michael Phelps fucking her in the stairwell.
Oh, God.
Dr. Foley walks in and he's like, Nika, you have a visitor. And she's like, what? So now they walk in to see who's come to visit. And as they're walking in, we just hear like the sound of blades sharpening. Shing, 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 shing. The camera pans up this woman, and we see she's actually just filing her nails. And it is Jennifer Tilly.
Damn.
Yeah. Tiffany's back. Nika, this is Miss Valentine, your niece's legal guardian. And then he just sits down to watch the visit. And Nika's like, you're Alice's guardian? That's right. I'm sorry. You look so familiar. Has anyone ever told you that you look exactly like Jennifer Tilly? Yeah, I get that a lot. You're not quite what I expected either. Well, what did you expect? Somebody taller. You don't look very dangerous. Well, you don't look very motherly. And then Jennifer Tilly's like, huh. Well, how is she? How is Alice? Oh, she's dead, Mrs. Pierce. And the doctor is like, Miss Valentine, I wish you had told me. Oh, didn't I? I'm so sorry. It's just been a horrible, awful ordeal that I've been going through. And Nika is just like staring at the floor. She's like, fuck. But it's okay. I know she's in a better place now. I just know it. What happened? Well, I'm no doctor, Mrs. Pierce, but I think it was a broken heart. And then Nika just starts fucking crying, man.
Jesus.
But she wanted you to have something. Here you go. Pulls out a brand new fucking Chucky doll. Fucking hands it to her, and it's like, hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play? And the doctor goes, wait, that's not the same. Oh, no. This is Alice's therapy doll. And, they used it to help her. And, well, she thought that it might help you too. And she gives it to her. And she's like, oh, that's so sweet. All right, gotta go. And she gets up, she's leaving. She turns around, looks at Nika, and she's like, good luck. Jennifer Tilly's got that like sweet voice that also sounds like a rusty wheel.
Why do they have to point out that she looks like the actual Jennifer Tilly?
All right, very quickly. Chucky actually killed his girlfriend, Tiffany Valentine. He then put her soul into the Tiffany doll. Uh-huh. They had some adventures. They actually had a child together.
Yeah.
In Seed of Chucky.
Yeah.
And during Seed of Chucky, they decided that they were going to repossess people. And these two people were Jennifer Tilly and Red Man.
Okay.
Hijinks ensued. And at the end, Chucky ended up being destroyed. But Tiffany possessed Jennifer Tilly. And then their child was actually split into two, named Glenn and Glenda. Yeah, it's fucking weird, man.
Jeez,
you gotta go watch this shit.
All right, man.
So then Tiffany leaves, and Nika is totally distraught, and she just throws the doll at the doctor, and she fucking wheels away. Now we get this fucking cool shot of the doctor like holding the doll and then walking to his office. And he's going down the hallway. At the same time, Madeline is going down the hallway. And they are each carrying good guy dolls. As they pass each other, the dolls, they don't move. They don't look at each other or anything like that. But you can tell that like weird shit. You know?
Yeah.
They got those like brand new fucking blue eyes.
Yeah.
And that creepy fucking red hair. So then Dr. Foley just walks into his office and he throws the new Chucky doll on the couch and then he fucking leaves. He's got shit to do. Camera stays on Chucky. And for the first time, we see him move and he like looks over at the door and he's like, "Arr." So he's here, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to your nightmare, bitch.
Oh, here we go. So now it's nighttime, and Carlos is, he's still on duty, and he's like just sitting at the computer, and he's typing shit. He's doing some work. And all the lights start going out because, everybody's supposed to be sleeping, and we just see Nika, and she is like laying in bed, and she is depressed as fuck. We see Carlos again, only this time behind him, we hear the sound of teeny tiny little sneakers walking down the hospital hallway. And then a little doll hand opens up a drawer that's right next to Carlos and pulls out a scalpel.
Damn.
It holds up the scalpel, and we see Chucky's face in the blade, like the reflection. So now Chucky is full on just walking down the hallway. It's night, okay? So like there's nobody around. He's walking. And he looks a lot cooler than he used to, man. They like updated his look big time. Looks a lot meaner now.
Yeah. He's still the new doll, though?
Yes.
Okay.
Which to me is the scariest iteration of Chucky.
Yeah.
Right then, Angela walks out of her room, and she's just fucking looking at him, and he just turns to her and goes, "Where's Nika?" Last door on the right. You can see me. Yeah, I can see ya. Don't be afraid. What? I'm not going to hurt you. You fucking with me? No, I'm not. To tell you the truth, I'm happy to have the company, even if you aren't real. Okay, let me explain something to you. I am a vintage, mass-marketed children's toy from the 80s, standing right in front of you, holding a very sharp scalpel. No, you're not. Yes, I am. I'm a schizophrenic. I see things. Aren't you the crazy bitch I talked to last night on the phone? Sometimes I hear things too. Okay, lady, you know what? You're next. I'm going to be right back. And then he just fucking leaves. He walks on. But as he's walking, he goes, Jesus fucking cuckoo's nest. Which is an Easter egg because Brad Dourif was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It was his first movie.
Ah, shit. There you go.
So he walks into Nika's room, and she's just asleep in bed, and he's like looking at her, and it's all dark in there. He's looking at the picture of Alice on the desk, and he walks over to the wheelchair, and he's like, huh. And there is one broken, missing spoke out of the wheel on her chair, and then his little shoes, they're running around the room. He walks around the bed and he finds a big giant puddle of blood behind the bed. And he's like, the fuck? And we see that she has ripped the spoke out of her wheel and cut her wrist with it. And she's killing herself, like right now.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, she's like kind of groggy. She's fucking dying. And she like opens her eyes a little bit. And she just sees a fuzzy Chucky face, like right up in her face. And he like holds up the scalpel like, bitch. And then all of a sudden it's morning and Carlos comes into the room and he's like, come on, Nika, wake up. Come on, it's after 7. Let's go. You got to take your meds. Nika wakes up and she's like, wait, what? What the fuck? She looks at her arm. It is fucking sewn up. Then she looks down at all the blood on the floor, which is still there, but Chucky has written into the puddle with his finger, not so fast.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Carlos is like opening the drapes and he's like, oh, he's about to see the blood. She throws her pillow on top of it. She's like, I want some privacy. I want to get dressed. He's like, yeah, okay. So he leaves. As he leaves, full blown fucking alarm is going off in the hospital. And they're like, code blue. They go into Angela's room, and she is dead in bed, motherfuckers. She's holding in one of her hands the broken spoke, and her other wrist is fucking slashed, and she has bled out all over the floor. Written in the blood, it says, Chucky did it. Nika sees that, and she's like, oh, shit. At this point, we see like a video on a computer, and Andy is in his house. He's like watching it, and it is of himself going to meet Dr. Foley and trying to talk to Nika. He's like, I really need to speak with Nika Pierce. And the doctor's like, yeah, no, you're not going to be able to speak with her, you know. No, she didn't do it. Chucky did it. See? And he has brought the head to Dr. Foley. It's on his desk, and he's like, see, watch this. And he like shoots a nail into its face, and it goes, ow! And Dr. Foley is like, that's very impressive, Mr. Barkley, you know. And it shows Andy watching the video while the Chucky head is like behind him so it can see what's going on. And Dr. Foley in the video is like, you know, you should get a job in the movies, sir. You know, no, Nika Pierce didn't do it. See? Could you please show him out? Like he just figured he was a fuckwit.
Yeah.
The Chucky head is like, let's watch it again. That one never gets old. You know what? Could you do me a favor, Chucky? Keep your fucking mouth shut. You know what, Andy? What if you really are crazy? Yeah, you ever think of that? Maybe you belong in the booby hatch with Nika. Maybe it's all in your head. And Andy is like, huh. Like for a second. But no time. We cut to group therapy. Dr. Foley's like, it's not your fault, Nika. Claire's like, bullshit. Nika fucking did it. She left her fucking calling card written in Angela's blood. Mark is like, no, aren't we overlooking another explanation here? You know, Occam's razor? You know, the simplest explanation is usually the right one. Chucky did it. Right then, Madeline walks in with her Chucky doll, and she's like, I'm sorry we're so late. I can't believe they're already digging Angela's grave outside. She sits down next to the doll that was delivered to Dr. Foley. She looks at it, and she just goes, what an ugly doll. And Mark is like, holy shit, there's two of them? And then the two Chuckies start talking to each other. They're like, hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play? Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play? And it's fucking creepy, man. Well, where'd this other one come from? From Alice, from her guardian. Nika's like, what did you say her name was? Valentine. Oh my God, Tiffany Valentine. Well, who's that? That's Charles Lee Ray's girlfriend. Okay, so who's Charles Lee Ray? He was a serial killer in the 80s. He killed 22 people. Then he was shot in a toy store, and he died right next to a good guy doll. His nickname was Chucky. Dr. Foley's like, it's just a doll. Okay, then prove it. Right here and now, right in front of everybody. Prove that it's a doll. Doctor's like, okay. He picks up the delivery doll, and then he lights his Zippo, and he holds it underneath the hand of the doll. He's like burning the fingers with it, okay? Mm-hmm. So he burns them for a little while, and they start to turn black, and then he closes the Zippo, and Nika's like, no, not yet. And he's like, okay. And he relights it and keeps burning the fingers. Nika is just glued to the doll's face. She's watching its eyes. Just fucking waiting for it to move or scream or something like that, okay? Doctor's fucking burning the hand, and the fingers start melting, and they like droop down, and they get really long, and the face does not change. So he stops burning them, and then Nika's like, okay, and points to Madeline's doll, and she's like, now him. He could have changed places with him somehow. Madeline's like, you leave my baby alone! And she leaves. Wait, Madeline! Dr. Foley looks at Nika, and he's like, man. What the fuck? I thought we were past this. Come on, man. You were like taking responsibility for the murders, and now it's all, the doll is alive? The fuck? So he leaves, and now it's just Nika and Mark, and she's like, I was wrong. Wow. Mark's like, yeah, you were wrong about that one, but come on, let's go destroy the other one. You know, better safe than sorry. Mm-hmm. You know, and here's the thing is, if one of them is possessed, why didn't he kill you when he had the chance? Because he's fucking with me. That's what he does. First, he'll kill all of you and make me watch, and then he'll kill me too. Unless, of course, I'm a complete psychopath. Well, let's just stay positive. So we see Madeline at the door to go outside. She's got the doll with her. And she goes out, and the nurse is like, yeah, she went to go walk Chucky. So, you should leave her alone. Nika looks at Mark, and she's like, you have to go get her. I can't. I lost my outside privileges. What? I hacked into Dr. Foley's computer. It was ridiculously easy. A lot easier than being CEO of a $200 billion corporation. She goes, you're Mark Zuckerberg now? Yeah. He's like, yeah. She's like, okay. Anyway, here, I'll cause a diversion. So she looks at the nurse. She's like, can you help me with my chair or something like that? And then Mark runs outside to go after Madeline and Chucky. We get a quick shot of the melted hand doll that's still sitting in the office, and then somebody grabs it. Now we see that it is Claire, bitchy Claire, okay? And she's running down the hallway, headed straight for the garbage chute. She opens that shit up, and then she goes, ow! And she drops the doll. She looks at her arm, big old fucking bloody bite right in her arm. Now remember, they were just burning that doll's fingers.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, holy shit. It's true. Right then, Dr. Foley and Carlos, the nurse, are like, hey, what's going on over here? We heard you scream. She's like, oh my God, Dr. Foley, it's true. He's alive. He's alive. They look at her arm. What have you done to yourself, Claire? Oh, geez. Here, give me this doll. She's like, no. We have to kill him. We have to destroy him. He'll kill all of us. He'll kill us all. It was him. And then, restrain her. And Dr. Foley, gives her an injection. We cut to Nika, who's watching out the window, looking at Madeline, holding the Chucky doll, standing over this open grave that they've dug for Angela. And she can see that they are whispering to each other from really far away. Madeline's holding Chucky like a baby, and then she turns her back to Nika so Nika can see Chucky's face, and then he fucking looks up at her and then flips her off.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so this doll is alive too.
Motherfucker.
Damn right. Nika goes fucking apeshit, starts banging on the window trying to warn Madeline, Maddie, no! And then Madeline just tosses the Chucky doll into the open grave and then just stands there. Mm. She sees Mark show up, and he's talking to Madeline, and then Madeline's pointing in the grave oh, look, I lost my doll down there. And then she just pushes Mark in. Back with Claire, the orderlies have strapped her down to a gurney, so she doesn't hurt herself anymore. The doctor comes in with the doll, and he sets it on a chair, and he's like, okay, I'll give her an injection, and she'll calm down and shit like that. She's like, no, he'll kill us all. He'll kill us all. He gives her the shot, and then she just turns into a drugged out patient. Very docile. And the doctor's like, it's really interesting, this mass hysteria that's going on about this doll here, Well, okay, let's go make our rounds. Then the other nurse busts in. She's like, sir, there is a problem with Malcolm outside. I need everybody's help. So they all run off to go and help that. And then Claire, looks over at the doll in the chair. Nika's watching outside before any of them have reached the grave yet. And we just see the Chucky doll's head pop up out of the grave. And it just looks like the dormant doll, okay? Just a smiling. Uh-huh. And Mark has handed the doll up to Madeline. And then the staff arrives and they pull Mark out, okay? They pull him out and he's like, yeah, no, I'm okay. And then he looks up at the window and he looks very evil now. He's smiling at her. And Nika realizes what has happened. And ladies and gentlemen, for the first time, we as the audience have now witnessed Chucky successfully possessing a human being.
Oh, all right.
Right, he's never been able to do it before.
Yeah.
Back with Claire, right above her is a huge skylight window, and it's snowing outside. And she's just staring up out the window, and she hears these little fucking footsteps all around her. She looks over, doll's not in the chair. We can see the little red hair, running past the bed. And he's running around the room, looking for something. And then he appears right next to her face, and he's like, rah! And he's holding a bottle of compressed oxygen. And he looks at it, he looks at her, and he goes, compressed? Does that mean what I think it means? Seriously, I'm not sure. And then he walks over to the foot of the bed. He looks up at Claire, and Claire goes, no. And then Chucky just throws it at the floor. The bottle breaks open, and it just fires upward like a rocket. right through the skylight window. So it makes a hole in the glass, and then the rest of the glass starts to slowly crack and shatter, and then it all falls, and it's in slow motion. And you see Chucky just standing there, like watching it, like fascinated. All the pieces of glass fall down, and one of them cuts off Claire's fucking head.
Oh, jeez.
And then it like bounces onto the ground and rolls down to Chucky's feet. He looks down at it and he goes, "Sometimes I scare myself." Nika is the one who finds the body, so she just starts fucking screaming. Now we cut back to Andy, and he's like, like any guy, he's on PerezHilton.com. And he's reading a story that says, Chucky did it again. 2 patients dead at asylum. And he goes, what the fuck? And he turns back to look at his living Chucky head, which then laughs at him and goes, "You thought I was the only one?" And he's like, oh shit. He gets up and he goes over to this cabinet. Okay. Chucky's like, "Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing back there? What are you doing, man?" And he pulls out another good guy doll, a brand new one that has had all of its hair cut off. Like all the hair is cut very, very short.
This is weirding me out.
Yeah. And it's like, what the fuck? And then it just shows him driving off in his truck, like off into the snow. Now Nika and Dr. Foley are talking to each other. She's like, "Chucky did it. You're delusional. Okay. You are all fucking delusional. The doll is not fucking killing people." She's like, It is. And I am going to prove it. You know what else? I think both dolls are alive somehow. And then we get this cut scene of how both dolls are alive. And the first Chucky doll has his hand over the other Chucky doll, and he's like saying the spell, but it's a little bit different this time. Now he goes,
Klaatu, Veranda.
She's like, "Where is the other doll?" "I don't know. Someone took it. Don't worry, I'm sure we'll find it. Maybe in your room." She's like, "I am not fucking crazy." Dr. Foley's like, You know what might help? Maybe I hypnotize you. Okay, it's always helped before, and yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So he gives her a shot, and she like goes all slurry. And he turns on this blinking light. He's like, "Watch the light, Nika. Just watch the light. Hypnosis helps us, it helps us accept the truth. Are you afraid of the truth, Nika?" "I'm terrified." "You should be too." And now she is under hypnosis. She's just staring into the light. And the doctor's like, "What if I told you there are cameras here at Harrogate, and they are all hidden, and every move you make is recorded, and we have footage of you murdering Angela and Claire? What would you say to that?" And Nika's like, she's all drugged out, but she's like, "Well, I guess I couldn't really argue with evidence like that." "And what if I told you that somehow that evidence got erased mysteriously? Okay? And now who would want to do that?" "Well, me, I guess." "Okay, so we agree. We agree about the murders." And then she kind of laughs a little bit, and he's like, "What is it?" She goes, "Chucky. He's right behind you."
Oh, God.
We don't see Chucky. We just see the two of them from the side. And then the doctor fucking leans in and kisses her. And it's like, oh, man. And he's in her face and he's like, I've missed these little sessions of ours. Haven't you, Nika? And she just goes, "No." "Well, of course not, because you can't remember them, which is probably for the best." And then this big glass pitcher or something like that, like crashes onto the back of his head and he just falls down. And it's Chucky and he's like, Holy shit! They call me sick? This guy is diabolical. I'm actually a little envious." And he's looking at Nika, who's still all drugged up, and he picks up a shard of the glass and he goes, "You know you want to, don't ya?" And then Nika's like, "Yes." He's like, "Come on, Nika, time to join the club." And he goes to hand her the glass, and then it just cuts to her crawling down a hallway. Crawling, and then she reaches these red shoes. She looks up, and it's her niece, Alice. So she's like dreaming or hallucinating or something like that. Remember, she's on drugs. Mm-hmm. Alice is like, "Auntie Nika, we've been waiting for you." And then you hear dung, dung, dung. It's these big footsteps. And we get a shot of Nika laying on the floor in the hallway with a giant, full, human-sized Chucky standing above her, like, laughing and holding a knife. And it is ridiculous. Finally, she actually wakes up. So, yeah, she was just dreaming. And it cuts to they're having group therapy. And Madeline is like, Dr. Foley is late. Now we see the possessed Malcolm. And he's like, the late Dr. Foley. Now, that has a nice ring to it, don't it, Nika? He looks at her. He's like, I hope nothing's happened to him. Kind of makes you wonder who's next. And then he just looks over at Madeline, who's holding her fucking baby doll. Nika's like, what the hell is wrong with you, Mark? That's not my name. Fine, what the hell is your name today? It's Charles. I think we've met. And then Nika's like, oh, fuck. And then there's a pen on the table, and she like fucking steals it. She looks over at Madeline, who's holding the doll still, and she's like, hey, Maddie, can I hold him? Maddie's like, you know what? He's pretty cranky. I better go and put him down. So then she gets up and walks away. Nika follows him and immediately runs into Dr. Foley. She's like, oh my God, Dr. Foley, you're okay. And he's like, well, yeah, I've got a hell of a headache, but what, you don't remember? I remember you hypnotizing me, and then, and he's like looking at her, and she's like, then the rest is kind of a blur. He's like, you assaulted me, Nika. Nika is like looking past him and sees Madeline take the Chucky doll into her own room. Doc sees that, and he's like, he isn't real. I'm really concerned with this setback of yours, but I am willing to keep my mouth shut about this incident if you are. Nika sees Madeline's door close just as she is beginning to breastfeed her Chucky doll. What? Yeah, man. And Nika's like, oh God. Now it cuts to Andy, and he is on the road. He's driving, and then his phone rings. He answers it. Hello, Andy. It's fucking Tiffany calling him. He's like, who the hell's this? Tiffany, Jennifer, even I lose track. I know who you are. I'm coming for you and for him. Actually, there's 3 of us at the moment, but the cult is growing all the time. Hey, Andy, you want to join up? Fuck you. Oh, I have a message from Chucky. He said you'll know what it means. He just said a single word. Disembowel. Now, what in the world do you suppose that means, Andy? And Andy's he's just like, shit. Cuts back to Nika. She goes to Madeline's door. On the other side, we see that she is indeed breastfeeding Chucky, and we just hear the suckling noises. Oh. Yeah, it's fucking weird. Then she finishes, and, like it's a real baby, and she gets up and lays him down on the bed. Nika's fucking knocking on the door, and now we see that Madeline she's put her shirt back on, like put her boob back in her shirt, and it's bleeding. Yeah. Maddie looks down at Chucky laying on the bed, and she's like, I never stopped loving you. The Chucky doll just goes, I'm your friend to the end. You know, Chucky, a boy's best friend is his mother. And then she picks up a pillow and is like holding it over the head of the doll, which just says, wanna play? And you see the doll is like actually making a fist, like getting ready to fight her. But she's too quick. She just starts fucking smothering the baby doll with the pillow, obviously mirroring what she did with her real baby. Okay. So she's fucking smothering this Chucky doll, and he's struggling, and he dies.
Oh,
like
wow.
underneath the pillow.
Jeez.
Right then, you hear Dr. Foley say, Madeline, what have you done? She turns around, and there's Dr. Foley and fucking Malcolm and everybody's just like standing there watching her. They saw what she just did. Your baby. What have you done to your baby? It's not a baby. It's just a doll. No. Your baby, Joshua. What did you do to him? And then Maddie just starts breaking down crying. So like we get to find out, yep, she smothered her baby. Because he wouldn't stop crying and shit like that. She's like, I'm so sorry. Doctor's like, no, not to me. Say it to him. So she pulls the pillow up, and it's like a dead Chucky doll, like laying on the bed with his eyes closed. She's like, can you ever forgive me, my angel? I'm sorry, he just wouldn't stop crying. The sound was like glass drilling into my head. I could never make him happy. Nika rolls in and she's just like, you didn't kill him. Madeline's like, what? He's faking. And then she reaches for the Chucky doll and Madeline's like, no, leave him alone. She picks him up and the doll's like, I like to be hugged. And then Malcolm just starts fucking laughing because remember, he's possessed. He's watching this whole thing. Doctor's like, okay, you know what? It is just a doll, but it's also a symbol. It's a symbol of Madeline's guilt, you know, Malcolm's confusion, everybody. It's a symbol for everyone. So you know what? It's part of the past. Why don't we bury the past? And now Nika is watching them outside having a fucking funeral for this Chucky doll. So it's all symbolic and shit, but they actually do bury the doll. Carlos stands behind her and he's like, you ain't buying it, are you? She's like, nope. He'll be back. He always comes back. So now it's nighttime. And we are out in front of the hospital and there is a night guard and he's just like, you know, walking around, guarding the gate. Andy pulls up in his truck. He's like, hey, I need to speak with Nika Pierce or Dr. Foley. Well, you know, visiting hours are over, so I need you to turn your truck around and just, you know, get on out of here. No, it's an emergency. I'm sure it is, sir, but you're going to have to call and make an appointment. Okay, then I'd like to commit myself. Get the fuck out of here, man. Get in your truck and go. And then Andy just punches him in the face.
Nice.
We now immediately cut to Andy being locked into a padded room. And he is just as calm as fuck.
Get it done, brother.
Nika is just sitting at the window watching the grave, waiting for this doll to come up out of the dirt. She's waiting a real long motherfucking time. But you know what? Yep, finally. The fucking dirt like breaks open and there is a little Chucky hand like coming up out. She's like, oh, she turns around to go get somebody's attention. The other Chucky doll is right there with a syringe and he jams it into her neck and he's like, night, night. And she passes out.
Motherfucker.
So the doctor's in his office and Carlos is like, hey, somebody mailed you this big package. Foley opens it up and it is the short-haired Chucky doll that obviously Andy mailed to him. Mm-hmm. And he's like, why would anyone fucking send this to me? Why do we have all these goddamn dolls? He's like, you know what? We don't have time for this. We need to go do our rounds. So he just leaves it on the desk. Now in Madeline's room, she's crying because she just buried her, you know, baby symbolically. And she's holding one of Chucky's shoes. So souvenirs she was allowed to keep. Mm-hmm. And she's just crying. And then Nurse Ashley walks in and she's like, looking at the shoe, like, sorry, you gotta give me that. You're not allowed to have the shoelaces. But it's all I have left of him. Look, Dr. Foley put you on suicide watch. You can't fucking have it. It's like, all right, I have to check on you every 15 minutes. So I'll see you in a little while. She goes out and she shuts the door behind her. Behind the door is the Chucky that just dug his way out of the grave. Just standing there. And his hair is all like fucked up and crazy looking because he's all dirty. Madeline's like, hi, baby. And then Chucky goes, they just don't get us, do they? And they never will. A mother's love never dies. Not even when she kills it. Madeline gets down on her knees and holds her arms out. And she's like, now, please, one last time, come to mommy. And then this doll just like walks up to her. And she holds him and she's like hugging him. And he's just like, fucking evil Chucky doll getting hugged by this crazy lady. And she's like, will it hurt? I'll do my best.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, man. And she's like, okay. And then he starts to slowly put his hand in her mouth. He actually takes a rather long time to do this, but he eventually ends up jamming his whole hand like down her throat and like ripping her tongue out of her face. Ugh. Nurse Ashley hears the commotion from out at her desk, so she runs in and just fucking screams because what she sees is Madeline dead with a doll arm jammed all the way down her throat. And the armless doll is like sitting on the floor across the room. Yeah, man. And it cuts to them pulling her out in a fucking body bag. The doctor's like, oh, Jesus, man, what the fuck is happening here? Nurse Ashley, please put Malcolm to bed. I'm sorry, doctor. You know what? This is just too much. I quit. And he's like, what? She's like, yeah, I gotta go. She leaves. Smartest girl, luckiest girl in the movie. He looks at Malcolm. He's like, go to bed, Malcolm. And Malcolm, in a very evil way, just says, okay. And he fucking leaves. The doc hands the one-armed doll to Carlos. He's like, man, fucking get rid of this shit. Carlos, having no idea anything's fucked up, he just goes, tosses it down the chute. Foley finds Nika in his office. She's like, it was Chucky. And she's looking at this short-haired good guy doll on the desk, right? Dr. Foley's like, why do I always fall for the crazy ones? And he pulls out a shoebox. He's like, Madeline killed herself. No. Chucky did it. You know what? Yeah, maybe Chucky did it. Maybe you did it. Either way, it's going to make one hell of a book. And he's walking over to her with this shoebox, right? Unfortunately, now you got to go back to Lockmore. Okay, and that's really too bad because I could have given you so much more personal attention here. And he pulls out this red pair of fucking hooker shoes. And it turns out he's got a foot thing. So he like starts putting the shoes on her feet and he's like licking her feet and kissing them and shit. Nika's watching him do it. And she just says, you're going to die. And then I'm going to tell everybody about you. You are a diagnosed schizophrenic and a murderess of 5 people. No one's gonna listen to you. And then crash! Another fucking glass pitcher gets broken over the back of his head. And he fucking falls down. This is the same Chucky that did it the first time with the melted fingers.
Yeah.
And he's like, I just can't with this guy. I don't know whether to kill him or just take notes. And he holds up another piece of the glass and he's like, now we're gonna try this again. She's like, I'm not a killer. Not yet. And then the music gets like, and the door opens up to the office and we see a shadow of the other Chucky doll like walk in. The one-armed doll.
Yeah.
So for the first time, we see 2 sentient Chuckies in the same room together. The one-armed is like, he's here. Took him long enough, stupid kid. And he's not a kid anymore. So, what's your point? They're fucking having a conversation with each other. So it's like they don't know each other's thoughts. They're like 2 separate versions of Chucky.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it behooves us to watch our step. Behooves. Listen to you. You sound like Hannibal Lecter. I can't believe they canceled that show.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Don Mancini wrote a couple episodes of Hannibal, so that's why.
Okay.
They look at the short-haired doll on the desk. Where'd he come from? Who cares? Wake him up. So then the other one like gets up to the short-haired doll and says,
Klaatu, Veranda.
the short-haired one fucking wakes up. And now there are 3 of these motherfuckers. Nika's sitting here watching this all, like, fucking going crazy.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, oh my God. They're looking at the short-haired one. They're like, what the fuck happened to you? You know, I love being me. And I love my job. Especially the look on my victim's face when they realize it's all really happening. A children's toy is actually beating them to death with a yardstick. Or setting them on fire, eviscerating them. All actual examples. One of them looks at Nika and he's like, a few years ago, I came across a groovy new spell on voodoofordummies.com. That changed everything. Now I can be me. And me. And me. And anyone with 2 legs and a hand for stabbing. Like Alice. And Nika's like, what? Yeah, it was fun for a while. People trust cute little girls almost as much as cute little dolls. But little girls can get hurt when their victims fight back. Then they ain't so cute anymore. Nika just starts fucking crying. She looks up, and we see that Carlos is standing in the door watching this whole fucking thing. And he's just fucking standing there like, oh, fuck. All 3 of the dolls turn around and look at him, and they're like, get him! And they all jump on him. One of them's like stabbing him with a pen over and over. Another one like has a drill. He's like drilling into his body. The one with the broken glass like slashes his guts open. His guts fucking pooch out of his stomach and they're like steaming.
Fuck?
Dude, there was so much great gore in this and also Curse of Chucky. The short-haired one is like, did you see the steam when I sliced open his guts? I've never felt so alive. Yeah, well, you've only been alive for like 2 minutes. And they're all laughing. They look at the short-haired one like, welcome to the cult, pal. Thanks, you guys are the best. Then they all start arguing about who gets to go and kill Andy Barkley, who is trapped in a padded cell. I earned it. I've been through a lot today. You got to suck titty today. Look what happened to me. And he shows him his melted fingers. Then the short hair is like, hello? Look at my hair. Oh shit, you win. Absolutely. Sorry, pal. You go fuck him up real good. Have fun, man. So the short hair leaves. And then one looks at the other. He's like, you guard the door. You kill anyone who tries to come in. I'll take care of her. Cutting to outside, the night guard is still walking around. And he sees this nice red car that's just parked out front. And he's like, the fuck? Leans down, looks inside. All we see is the Tiffany doll just sitting in the back seat. Like smiling, like not living, just in its dormant state.
Yeah.
And he's like, the fuck is this? He stands up, gets killed by Tiffany. Jennifer Tilly. She cuts his throat, he falls, and she's got like blood on her fingers, and she starts licking it and shit, and she's like, cherry snow cone. Nika's in her wheelchair in the office. She looks at this Chucky doll. She's like, just fucking do it already. If I wanted you dead, you'd be tits up by now. I was never gonna kill you, Nika. Believe me, there's worse things than death.
Klaatu, Veranda.
Give me all the power, I beg of you. And then the fucking lightning is crashing and shit, every time he goes into a doll. And then Nika fucking stands up. And like her bones are all like creaking and cracking while she's doing it. And she's wearing the red hooker shoes.
Yeah.
And she's got a pretty evil look on her face. Oh. Chucky has just possessed Nika. So Fiona Dourif stands up for the first time in 2 movies.
Yeah.
She turns around and we see she has a little bit bigger of a butt than one would have imagined. It's fine though.
You can run, but you can't hide, bitch.
So then she, in a voice that sounds just a little bit like her dad's. Hey, Dr. Foley. Hey, wake up. He wakes up and she's like, this is for Nika. And then using her big red hooker shoes, she just stomps that motherfucker's face to a pulp and they show every moment of it.
Oh, jeez.
Looked great, man. It was beautiful.
Damn.
So now we see her and she's like, she's probably still wearing her scrubs, but she's wearing the doctor's overcoat and his big red scarf and she's walking down the hallway like, fuck yeah. It's all slow motion and shit. She runs into possessed Malcolm and he's like, I did it. I killed her. We see Nurse Ashley. Yeah, she quit, but she didn't make it out of the building. She's got a big drill sticking out of her body. I gave that bitch what she deserved. Nika's like, no, you didn't. Yeah, I killed her. I'm Charles. In your dreams, asshole. I'm Charles. But all my friends call me Chucky. Nobody calls me that. Oh, God, what's happening? Who am I now? You're a fucking poser. You're sick. And not in the fun way like me. Oh, God. And he just starts fucking crying. And he falls to his knees and he's like, I just want to be someone who matters. But I'm not Mark. I'm not Michael. I'm just Malcolm. Fucking multiple Malcolm. Sounds pretty crowded in there. Oh, God, I could still hear him. I could still hear Chucky's voice. I could still hear him inside my head. Right then, he gets a fucking drill through the back of his head and out of his eye.
Oh, jeez.
And the one-armed Chucky doll, he's the one who's doing it. He's like, yeah. And it was such a nice place to visit. And then that Chucky doll and Nika just start fucking cackling together. Like, yeah, fucking life is awesome when you just kill everyone. Now it cuts to Andy, just sitting there in his padded cell, fucking waiting for something.
He better be the Ash Williams of this movie, man.
You will see.
Does he look like a bitch?
No, actually, he does not look like a bitch. He's just sitting there watching out the door.
Does he look like a bitch?
Again, he does not look like a bitch. He's like a badass sitting there waiting. And then out the window, we see short-haired Chucky. And he unlocks the door, and he's got like a little key card that obviously he took off of an employee that he killed. He walks in and he's like, Andy Barkley, as I live and breathe. And then Andy like, fuck yeah. He stands up and he starts running at him. And then short-haired Chucky just throws a fucking scalpel right into his leg. And then Andy fucking goes down. And he's like, oh, shit. And he reaches for the scalpel when Chucky runs up and kicks it out of his leg. And it sticks into the wall. So Andy can't get the scalpel. Chucky runs for it, grabs it out of the wall, turns around, and gets pinned to the fucking wall by Andy, who's like fucking holding him on the wall. And then he takes his other hand and just jams it into this Chucky's stomach. He's already like human and able to bleed.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's like digging into his fucking stomach. It's all bloody and shit, and he pulls out a fucking handgun.
Yeah!
Oh, yeah, that's right. Chucky's like, what the fuck? Oh, shit! Andy points it at him and he goes, this is the end, fucker! And then shoots him in the fucking stomach. Okay, this is where things take a turn with Andy. I'm like, wait, what? You just had your hand in his stomach.
Yeah.
He shoots him in the stomach, right? And he shoots him again in the stomach. Twice more in the stomach. And then finally, the fifth bullet goes into Chucky's forehead. And he like kind of slumps down. And Andy's just like, yeah, all right, bitch. But Chucky's not dead. He's got a hole in his forehead, but he looks up at Andy and he's like, you sent me? Yeah. Thanks for coming after me. Saves me the trouble. Fuck you! And then Andy just stomps his fucking face into a pulp.
Yeah.
Which is just as beautiful as when it happened to the doctor. Like a big blood-filled pumpkin.
Nice.
So it's like, fuck yeah. And then Andy immediately turns around and points the gun at the door, in which Nika is standing, watching the whole ordeal. Nika says, you kill me, you kill her. Think about it. Andy thinks about it for a second, and then he fires. The gun clicks empty.
What? 5?
There were only 5 rounds in the gun.
Jeez.
So much for Ash Williams.
All right.
Boy.
Nika's like, yeah, thinking is for losers. Right then, the hospital is like, lockdown, lockdown. People are dying in the hospital.
Oh no, I'm late to class, bitch.
And Nika's like, tag, you're it, pal. And then she shuts the door and it locks automatically. And he's like, no, no, no. While the alarm is happening, other employees from elsewhere in the hospital start like appearing, you know. So far, we haven't really seen them.
Okay.
When the one-armed Chucky just like gets up onto the couch, sits on it, and then goes dormant and looks like just a regular doll.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's going to be found by somebody and restored somehow and then go on a rampage somewhere else. Nika goes outside to meet Tiffany. Tiffany's like, hey, sweet face. It's good to see you back on your feet. You look great, Tiff. And then they start making out.
Yep.
Oh, jeez.
That's what I thought.
And then Nika looks at her and she's like, so, this is different. I don't know. Works for me. Nika steps over the dead guard who's just like a bloody pile on the floor. She looks down at it and she's like, some things never change though. A true classic never goes out of style. You said that to me once after stabbing a man 39 times. And then they get in the car. And Tiffany, you know, she takes a minute. She looks a little sad. Nika's like, what? I was just feeling bad about Alice. It was kind of nice having her around, you know? Nah, fuck that kid. And then they just start fucking laughing. And it's contagious. They like laugh more and more. And then finally we see in the rearview mirror, the Tiffany doll in the back seat is also laughing. So all three of them fucking laughing their asses off. They just drive away out into the snow. And the credits roll, baby.
Damn.
Yeah, man. Luckily, after the credits, there is a stinger. And we see the fucked up Chucky head that Andy keeps in his house. And it's just fucking sitting there on his desk. And he hears a car pull up. So he like opens his eyes. And he's watching this person walk up to the door. And then they open the door and they walk in. And motherfucker, it is Christine Elise from Child's Play 2. She played the teenager, Kyle. Yeah. It's her now. And he looks at her and he's like, Kyle?
The foster sister.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, dude. She was fucking badass. She says, Andy sent me. We're going to have some fun. And then she holds up a pair of pliers. She walks up to Chucky and then she blocks our view of him and we just hear a bunch of crunching. And then Chucky just fucking starts screaming. And then it cuts out.
Shit.
And that's it, baby.
All right.
Damn.
There you have it. Cult of Chucky on Movies with Ron for Halloween.
This fucker is never going to stop making these movies.
Oh, he is not. Don Mancini is already talking about Chucky in space.
Ah, shit.
He also mentioned that the next one would involve Glenn or Glenda, the child of Chucky and Tiffany. So yeah, man. I say bring it on.
What's this button do? Ah, shit, I'm in orbit.
I love it, man. I'll take it.
I don't know what to think about it.
Didn't like it?
You know, like?
I feel like I should have seen the other ones.
Don't fall asleep.
It really has no closure.
Oh, no. Totally not.
No, man.
Andy is still fucking locked in a madhouse.
We're moving on.
He needs to just make a show out of this. That's what it feels like.
I take that too, man.
I'll bet Netflix would buy that shit.
Fuck yeah.
This sounds like a fun ride.
Dude, it was.
Yeah?
I loved it. I'm all in, man.
Fuck yeah. Crazy killer dolls. I'm down. Yes, more.
More than one Chucky now.
Yes.
The possibilities are endless. Like, Chucky ends the world.
Ooh.
Now everybody's Chucky.
All right.
Yeah, man. Fuck this zombie apocalypse threat that everybody's preparing for. Prepare for Chucky. Bunch of Chuckies running down the road. What are you going to do, man? Fuck that.
Yeah, that's obviously the next step. We're going to see a shot of like hundreds of Chucky dolls.
Chucky apocalypse.
And then they all morph together to be one giant Chucky.
The mega Chucky. Fuck you.
Fuck you guys, man. I'm glad you're excited, though. I'm happy for you.
Join the cult, Chris.
All right, folks. If you're using Apple Podcasts, hit that review tab. Leave us a rating and review. We'd love to hear from you. We're on all your other favorite podcast apps, movieswithron.com. There's a Facebook page. We got Twitter, @movieswithron. It's been fun.
Yep, love you. Happy Halloween.
Take care, guys.
Big ass titties!
Movies with Ron.